Venom, Let There Be Carnage is the sequel to the 2018 Venom. And the film is about Eddie Brock, who's played by Tom Hardy. He comes in contact with a serial killer played by Woody Harrelson, Cletus Cassidy. And when Cletus Cassidy bites Eddie Brock, he gets a piece of that symbiote and turns into Carnage. At the same time, Cletus Cassidy is trying to break out a former lover of his, played by Naomi Harris. And at the same time, Venom is trying to realize that Michelle Williams, his character, Anne, has moved on and is getting married. The film once again stars Tom Hardy, Woody Harrelson, Stephen Graham, Naomi Harris, Michelle Williams. The film's an hour and 30 minutes and it's PG-13. Welcome back to a big time movie review here on Max Talks Movies, the first movie of the biggest month of films of the year in October. We're starting with Venom, Let There Be Carnage. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell. I'll be coming with a lot of reviews, a lot this month of October, maybe the biggest month of movies in years. And it starts with Venom, Let There Be Carnage. If you're also, please comment down below your thoughts. First off, if you've seen already Venom, Let There Be Carnage, let me know your thoughts in a non-spoiler fashion in the comment section down below. If you do want to talk spoilers, just put the spoiler thing and then leave a paragraph so people don't get spoiled if they're watching this review. And like the video if you just to support the channel. It is the best way to support this channel at the moment. So let's talk Venom, Let There Be Carnage. So the first film, I was actually really excited for this film based on the screenings. A lot of people say stay tuned for this post-credit scene. I'll let you know about that post-credit scene in a little bit. But the first film for me was a fun mess. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. It was a fun movie to watch, but really awfully done. And it was a fun, awful movie where it couldn't balance a campy vibe with a really dark, serious vibe to it as well. I just wasn't the biggest fan of the first Venom film, but the fact that Andy Serkis is on to direct this film was a bit of really a good idea. Andy Serkis is a solid director. I know he's one of my favorite actors working today, but I really did enjoy his take on the Jungle Book and Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle. He directed Breathe, which a lot of people did enjoy. So he's a well-acclaimed director. It's his biggest movie by far. And the fact that this movie is, I'll start by positives, by negatives. I'll give you my score out of 5 stars. I had a lot more fun in this than I did in the first movie because the first movie was around 2 hours long. And it had an issue of balancing a over-the-top campy Venom tone where Venom, and it was sometimes really awkward and campy and too cheesy, with Riz Ahmed's really awful villain, and then Riot shows up. This movie is 90 minutes on the money, and that includes credits. I was really shocked how tight this movie is. Super tight. It's a really fast 1.5 hours. And with blink it and you miss it, you're already in the third act of the movie, which will get to in a bit of a negative in a sec. But the movie actually flies by. And the biggest positive why I like the movie a lot more than the first one is because we start the movie. Tom Hardy is already Venom. Venom's already a part of him. The banter already begins the first scene you see them together. It does take a while in that first movie for Eddie Brock and Venom to combine to be a symbiote. And because of that, you have a really awkward Eddie Brock, and that leads to him doing some really weird things when he first comes in contact with Venom. But this movie, it's all normal now. And the hilarity of that happening is just really, really fun. Tom Hardy's voice is great. Venom is a lot funnier than he was in the first one. And I think Eddie Brock is much better. That's also a huge positive. I really like this version of Eddie Brock compared to the Eddie Brock from the first film. It's not too much different, but Tom Hardy has a lot more fun in this movie because he's already Venom. So he's already has a really funny jokes. It feels like he's a psychopath with the way he talks out in public. It's really funny. So like the first movie, it's very cheesy. It's very funny. There's some really cheesy lines that sometimes work and sometimes do not work. The design of Venom, and one of my also biggest negatives with the first film was that Venom is a black suited character. And when you're shooting black on black with shooting it at night, you can't really see what is going on. In the first movie, I couldn't see half the action scenes that were going on. But in this movie, a lot more stuff happens during the day. And if it happens at night, it's in a place where you can clearly see what is going on. That was kind of a huge positive I had, is that you can clearly see what is going on in these action scenes 95% of the time. Woody Harrelson's really fun playing this serial killer, Cletus Cassidy. He's really fun to watch in this movie. Michelle Williams is very good. Of course, everyone's really good in this movie. As I said, the action scenes are really good. The score from Marco Beltrami, sadly, it's not Ludwig Göransson, but the score is still really solid in this movie. But I was just never bored with this movie. Another huge plus, and let's just talk about it. There's only one post-credit scene. It's a mid-credit scene, and you have to stay for it. It is one of the best post-credit scenes of all time, I believe. This will go down as one of the best post-credit scenes ever. There's a reason why they're trying to keep this post-credit scene a secret, because it has a lot. I don't even want to hint at it. You guys have to stay for the mid-credit scene. Now, there's no after the credit scene where you have to sit through all the actual credits and then you get a scene. It's just a mid-credit scene, but you do need to see it. That's all I'm going to say about it. It really blew my mind. My whole theater was clapping. They were really quiet or laughing throughout the entire film, but the ending, everyone in my theater was clapping. I'll just say that every single person was clapping. So if that tells you anything about this post-credit scene, that surely does. Let's also talk about some negatives, guys, with the film. It just feels like at this point in this movie has a hard problem finding a plot to get Venom and Carnage to fight each other. Naomi Harris is sadly useless in this movie. She plays a character who was one of the rare people who really admired Cletus Cassidy as a kid. And you get flashback scenes of them together, and they're kind of a couple, I would say. And she has her own powers. She plays Frances Barrison. She has her own powers of sound. And that became a really interesting plot point because obviously sound is one of the big ways to beat a symbiote like Venom or Carnage. But she really is just useless. It's just another plot point for Carnage to have something to do in the second act of this movie, because the first act of this movie was actually fine for a villain point of view. We had a lot of good scenes between Woody Harrelson and Tom Hardy, and the reason why Cletus Cassidy keeps wanting Eddie Brock to write stories about him. But then once Carnage happens around the halfway point of the movie, we really drift off of Eddie Brock barely seeing Cletus and for the rest of the movie until the third act. And they wanted to kill time with Carnage, so they have Carnage break out his girlfriend. It isn't that interesting because Naomi Harris sadly has nothing to do. They have a little thing with her and Stephen Graham, who plays a cop in this movie, Detective Mulligan. And that's kind of the only thing going for Naomi Harris's character in the movie. And sadly, while I love Naomi Harris, happy she's also in the Bond movie next week, which I'll be reviewing. She's very useless in this movie. Michelle Williams is, again, kind of in the same plot point as the first movie. She's now engaged to Dan, played by Reed Scott. And Eddie Brock's not totally happy with that, but she, of course, is a part of this journey somehow. It's the same kind of plot point that was used in the first movie. As I said, there's really awkward dialogue that happens during the movie where you know that a line like that is coming and you don't want it to happen in this type of movie, but it happens. And as I said, it just feels like there's no plot going on. There's like a plot where Eddie and Venom aren't on the same page, and Cletus Cassidy wants to break out his girlfriend and kill Eddie for some reason. All these different things, but it just feels plotless throughout the entire movie. While it's an hour and a half and it speeds by, and I had a blast watching it, at times it just doesn't feel like there's any plot going on. We're just watching Venom and Eddie and Cletus do all these different types of things. And again, I am kind of getting tired at this point of Venom just fighting Venom 2.0. I think this has to be the last movie we see a Venom fighting a Venom 2.0. Now, Carnage is a much better job, much better villain than Riot was, but still you could kind of feel that we were doing Venom versus Venom again. So hopefully we stay away from that if they continue to make Venom movies in the Sony universe. But overall, guys, I had a really fun time. If you've seen the first one and you like the first one, you're going to really like this movie. If you weren't a huge fan of the first one, I would say you actually will like this movie a lot more than the first one. There are still faults. The plot is not that good. There's a lot of useless characters in this movie as well that I wish had more to do. And that kind of comes down with the 1.5 hour screen time. It was very tight and at times too tight, where some characters just didn't get enough background. And there's some really awkward dialogue and too cheesy dialogue. But overall, I had a fun time with Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5, a 70% on the money for Venom, Let There Be Carnage. A really fun movie. It is better than the first Venom. And you do have to stay for the first post-credit scene. It's going to blow up the internet once everyone gets a chance to see this movie in theaters this weekend. So that's my thoughts on Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Please like the video. Subscribe. More reviews are coming tomorrow. Netflix movie review with Jake Gyllenhaal. That comes out tomorrow. My spoiler review of the season 1 of Midnight Mass. That also will come out tomorrow. My box office breakdown show will come out on Monday, where we talk about how does Venom, Let There Be Carnage do at the box office. That'll be on Monday. Wednesday will be my what if spoiler review of the season finale of What If, episode 9. And then Thursday will be my review of No Time to Die, the last Daniel Craig Bond movie. And also sometime in the next week, I'll rank all the movies that I saw in the month of September. Now, because Venom is a October film, Venom Will Let There Be Carnage will be on the October list, not the September list. So that is my thoughts on Venom Let There Be Carnage. I'll see you guys very soon. If you want to see my other movie reviews, you can click the link right there. I've done all the other Marvel movies of the year thus far, Shang-Chi and Black Widow. If you want to subscribe to the channel for other stuff, please do so. I'll see you guys soon.